Let's see if we got anybody in here right now. Nobody in here right now. That is okay. All right. Let's see. Live on YouTube. Ask your questions. Let's go. Post. Post. We're gonna go legacy community. He's the man. I like that guy. All right. Now live. Oops. Ask those questions. All right. Sweet. So I'm also gonna probably just go ahead and jump in on live on Instagram as well. And if nobody joins, that is totally fine as well. I already know what I'm going to talk about. If nobody joins live, let's get it. Coaching. Ask your question. Let's see. We're going to shape this one about marketing. Your REI marketing questions. Done. Boom. Oh, wait, we live. The baby is here and we're live. And nobody's in here. Maybe. I don't know. If you guys are, then that's great. Good to see you guys. I don't have anybody in the coaching. But typically I have like the coaching people in here, but nobody's in here. I did send out the invite, so hopefully some people join. If they don't join this week, then that's fine. One of the things I'm going to talk about today is going to be marketing. So what that means is like just straight up marketing to direct to sellers. So that's what we'll talk about today. We'll dive into that. The baby with me for a little bit. If you guys are in the school community, of course, like I'm gonna have this in there, and then also I do have a school coaching community. So like I have two communities, a free one and then a coaching one. Nobody really knows about the coaching one. So because I don't talk about it much, but that's where people can actually join this call and then ask their questions to me. But if you want, go ahead and ask your questions in the chat. For those of you that are joined on YouTube or joined on Instagram, make sure you ask those questions in the chat, and then we'll go from there. But I do want to talk about while we're just kind of waiting, see if anybody joins or if anybody asks questions. I am going to talk about like the idea of marketing direct to sellers because a lot of times people are like, okay, what does it mean? Like, how do you get deals? Right? People ask us all the time, how do you get discounted properties? That sounds crazy, especially in the market that we're in today, where supply is extremely low. And if supply is low, then that means competition is usually high. Demand would be high, and that means that people are going to be bidding on properties. It's hard to find them at discounts. How do you do it? And so, one of the ways that we do it, and I'm going to talk about it with you all here, is through motivation, right? Through motivation. That's a big part of it. Somebody has to have some sort of motivation that they're going through in order to want to sell their property at a discount. That's how it works. If they don't have motivation, then there's no reason for them to sell at a discount. So what we do is through our marketing channels, we actually pitch or talk to or sell to that motivation. And that motivation can be a number of different things. A lot of times people, as they talk about motivation, they talk about foreclosures. That's one of the things that we do a lot of. Divorce, moving, illness in the family, like sickness, financial hardship. Doesn't have to even be foreclosure. Just taxes, behind on taxes. They can't afford the water bill, all types of stuff. And they have, or honestly, a lot of it's distress with the property. It needs so much work that they just don't want to deal with it. And so, how do we reach out and talk to these sellers and contact these sellers and get these properties at deep discounts? That's the question that we get all of the time. And so, I want to dive in through some of our main marketing channels that we use because that's a big part of it. And I'll actually, you know what? I'll actually pull up a document here. And most of this document is on my, I'll, I'll add this into the school community. Um, so that you guys can see it. But ooh, let's see. All right, all right. Okay, cool. So we can kind of look at some of the marketing ways that people use. All right, cool. Yeah, here we go. Nice, nice. And some of the main ways. Okay, so depending on, and I'm gonna actually go from like cost from high to low. Oh, you know what? I think somebody's in here. Let's go. Hello, Jonathan King. Yo, allow you to talk. Jonathan, what's up, Jonathan? My man out in SoCal. Let's get it. How you
Hey,
doing?
how's it going? I was just chatting with you on
Right.
Instagram.
Right. Said anything? That's okay.
Oh no.
Oh shoot, I can hear you. I can
No.
hear you. What's up,
Yeah,
John?
yeah. I'm unmuted. How's it going, brother?
Good man. How you doing? Let's freaking
I'm doing
go.
good. Yeah, I was
Good.
chatting with you on IG there a second ago.
Yes, sir. The legend, my guy. How you? Yeah, you were chatting with me a minute ago on IG. You know what? I might see if I can like actually take off my headset so people can hear you, man. Hear you on the gram a little bit. Okay, cool, man. Yeah. So this is, if you want to, man, I'm happy to answer any questions. If you just want to kind of like chill, you could chill too. But if you got any questions, yo, Quentin, you to go, bro. I'm just trying to be like you. Um, but cool, yeah, man. I'm glad you're here, Jonathan. That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Absolutely. Yeah, of course.
Cool. Do you have any questions or is there anything I can help you with while you're here?
No, actually, you were I mean, I can give you a little background, but I was actually curious about what you're about to say right there. So, long story short, 30-second rundown. I'm wholesaling. I'm running Facebook ads right now currently,
Nice.
and I'm actually, but those are pretty inbound, right? And they're pretty sparse throughout the day.
Yep.
So I'm actually trying to do a little bit more low cost acquisition.
Cool.
And I think you were kind of gonna dive into your like
Oh
you
yeah.
mentioned your low cost lead acquisition. So I'm looking at potentially doing a power dialer or I want to go over highly motivated leads though. So like the realtor outreach might be a little
Yep.
bit slow at this point. That's
Yep.
not
Yep.
something I think I'm looking for, but yeah, I mean, I have
Cool.
tons of questions, but if that's kind of already leading into what you're
No,
about to
let's
do there.
yeah, let's do it. Okay, cool. And I'm gonna be like super transparent just because like that's kind of the nature of who I am and what we do. So yes, I'm gonna dive into I'm gonna dive into all of that marketing. So for those of you guys who can't hear on Instagram, Jonathan is asking, or he's talking about some of his marketing. He says he's using Facebook marketing. Are you using anybody in particular? Because you'll see it on here. I actually started using lead pitching lately, and that's worked out really well.
Yeah, I'm actually working with like his name is Chris Chico. If you go look him up, tell him I
Cool.
sent you. But yeah, he if you know who that is, that's who I'm working with. He has a group and all
Nice,
that
nice.
jazz.
Okay, cool. I don't know specifically who that is, but I do know like we like Facebook ads, and I'll kind of dive in and show you some of mine. So I'm going to show you the different ones because he's asking, okay, what are the different marketing sources that you use? And then I'm actually gonna look real quick before I do that, and I might share my screen here so people can kind of look in just a second. But there are different types of. So Jonathan, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go through all of the marketing sources, and then I'm actually going to be super transparent with you because this is how I am with like the coaching group that I'm in. Like I'm going to show you my exact dollar cost that I've spent on marketing this year, how many leads we've gotten, how many of those converted into like good opportunities, the conversion rates, the cost per lead, all that stuff per marketing channel. So like really dive into that. So we're going to do that on here for you. But before I'm going to go through like the different ways that people can find leads, and then we'll dive into that. So for everybody on here, there are different types of ways people can get leads from either I have here like from like the cheap method, right? Like the cheapest method to the more expensive methods. And some of the more expensive methods are going to be the ads, here it is. This is what I was yeah, here we go. The ads. Okay, so the free methods. Let's go over like the free ways because I had somebody on my story today ask me for free ways of pulling leads. So this is how you do it. How do you get free leads? One of them will be driving for dollars. This concept of driving for dollars is literally going around driving and looking for distressed properties. Properties that have like long grass. They look like that they're not well kept. They look like they're vacant properties. They're boarded up. Any of those things. So what you would do is you would go and you would use an app like Deal Machine or something like that that is really, really awesome, really helpful for that context. of finding these deals, and then you would use, and then you would go ahead and skip trace. So you would figure out the phone number, figure out the information for that person, and then dial that person, call that person, and then make them an offer on the property. So diving for dollars, getting the county data and door knocking or cold calling. So we're still in the free section here. So if you're going to be cold calling, you can cold call from your phone, your cell phone, anything like that, because you're not actually going out and getting a dialer yet, which dialers allow you to dial numbers at scale. Dang, I got poor connection on here, huh? My live went poor connection. So dialing numbers at scale. And so you could go, what we do is we have a virtual assistant go and scrape the county websites. They'll go scrape the website, grab the data of the most recent foreclosures. They'll use a service like they'll use, and for the free, if we're going free people search, something like that, you can use that to figure out who who's going to be really good people to call. So one of the things we do, so like a little bit of a hack here, and I think this is actually in that free school community, is like we'll go, and if you're going to do this and you want the freeway, you'll pull the data and then you can search. You can search in a lot of like you could just go on Zillow, honestly, look at what the value of that house is, and then look at when it sold for, and then you can almost guess the equity, the amount of equity in that property. And then those are the ones that you would really hone on. Those are the ones that you door knock. Those are the ones that you call over and over and over because you don't want to waste your time on a property that doesn't have equity. You want to make sure that you are maximizing the time that you have. So make sure that you're just going after properties with equity at the end of the day. That's what you want to do. So then that's the freeway. And then the other freeway is like JVing with others, which means joint venture. So like you're going out, you're getting you're either trying, like you have a whole, like let's say you like focus on finding buyers. You can go to a person that is trying to wholesale a deal. Where and how do you pull lists from the county? This is great, Manna. So I think you're in the free school community. Go in there, go into the courses section, and I show you exactly how to do it, exactly how to find the foreclosure attorneys that have this data. That's what I would do. Or you can go down to the county courthouse. They always have a book that show all of the foreclosures, all of the tax delinquents, all of the lis pendants, and you can actually write it down from there. But all these foreclosure attorneys, depending on the state, by law, have to broadcast that they have been given that property as a yes, going to tune in after this. Yeah, you should totally. So by law, they have to broadcast that they've been given that property. And so when they do that, they either do that on like in the newspaper or they do it on their website. In North Carolina, they do it on their website. A bunch of other states, they do it on their website. So if you look up, give you some game here, Logs Legal Group foreclosures on Google, or like Hutchins Law Firm foreclosures, Brock and Scott foreclosures. Those are like the three big ones. They will broadcast all of theirs online. So that is the way to do it. Depends on if your state is judicial or non-judicial. It's easier to access that info. Yeah, Q in here. Given the value, bro. Given the value. It does depend on your state. So a lot of those states won't have it broadcasted. You're going to have to go down to the county. Now, the thing is, if you go down to the county and get that information, then you are working harder than most people. So you're going to have a leg up. Where in North Carolina, it's easy for everybody to go online, grab that data. And so the competition is significantly higher. So that's where I would definitely go in, make sure that you're like just knowing what type of state you are, and then being able to like you really do have a leg up if you're going to actually go and do the work at the county. The cheat methods. So cheat methods are going to be pulling your own list. So if you go on like a list source, a PropStream, something like that, you can actually be able to pull data for like 2 cents a record or like 1 cent a record. Actually, I think it's cheaper than that. I really have no idea. I haven't used it in a while. And then you skip trace that data. And some of those are going to be at like 10 cents, things like that, like 10 cents a record to get the data. That is going to cost you, right? It's going to cost you, like, depending on how big that record is or how big of a net you're trying to cast out. You can pull all the foreclosures. That if you pull a data like foreclosures from Batch Leads or PropWire or PropStream, that's actually going to be, honestly, not as fast. That's going to be later. It's probably going to be about like 7 days after pulling it from the county, because like that company has to aggregate that data, put it together, and then have it in a way for people to search it through their platform. So the quickest and easiest is going to be through the county, but in this way you can pull tens of thousands of records through something like a Batch Leads or something like that. I suggest Kind, skip like Kind. I'll talk about that a little bit later because we use like their AI method for pulling data, and it really depends on how you want to do that. The next thing you want to do is like another cheat method is texting. Now, texting, a little bit more game here too. Don't go with launch control. Launch control is trash. Jonathan, I don't know if you've been using launch control or not. If you have texted, don't do it. It was super popular, and then now like not as great. Smarter Contact is incredible. Love it. It's much better. I like their reporting a lot better. The deliverability is a lot better. They have an AI like they have like an AI way of going through things that helps it to deliver just better and like not nearly as many restrictions on the text and just a lot not nearly as many violations. So we get a ton more like our deliverability rate on Smarter Contact is way higher than it was on launch control. So there you go for that as well. And then hiring virtual assistants. Like you can hire virtual assistants from companies like online.ph or onlinejobs.ph or other VA companies. I highly suggest Cortec VAs. That's who we use. They're really good. They'll be able to help you with a ton of stuff. So if you guys are interested in really good VAs, Cortec VAs, I can send you that link for that. That's actually a company that I started a while ago, and then like they kind of run it, and they're fantastic. They're incredible. So it's like a selfish plug, but also I don't really run it. So they run it and they run it really, really well.
Do you have all these listed out on that school group?
I do have all these listed in that school group.
Okay, great.
Anything I say that is not listed, make sure you remind me, and I will put all of this stuff in there, like all of this, because I actually think some of it is not. So, like I don't think I have Smarter Contact in there. So I will add this in there because thank you. That is good. I'll make sure I do that. So now let's get into like the more expensive method. And is this like, yeah, okay. The more expensive methods are going to be like the ads, right? You're going to have like pay per lead, pay per click, direct mail. Those are kind of the three main ones. And so pay per click or Facebook ads, pay per leads is good. It just really depends on like what your strategy is. Pay per lead is where you can, okay, so if somebody has a good budget and they don't want to cold call, you feel like you've got a good system down, then pay per lead could be really good for you. The only bad, and it's got the quickest like on ramp to where you can start it today, and then today you would get leads because there's a couple of different ways that pay per lead people get or providers get their data or get their leads. They're either running ads, like they're running Google ads, or YouTube ads or Facebook ads, and then what they're doing is depending on the area that you're in, you bid on leads. So my favorite is propertyleads.com. They're the best, hands down, the best. Don't use like I know some people like LeadZolo. Actually, I know my man Stratton loves LeadZolo. Have you found geofencing? No, I have not found geofencing to be successful. I did try geofencing, spent a bunch of money on geofencing because like geofencing foreclosures would make sense. Was not successful. Did not work for me at all. So did not get one lead from it. Spent thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. Did not get one lead. So I really, really like the idea of geofencing, but geofencing did not work out really, really well for us. So I would suggest like, that's going to be a toss up because we took our foreclosure data, put it into it, and had them geofence our foreclosure data. Did not work as well as we wanted it to work. And like it was one of those things where we could be on their. I mean, I think we were on like their TV commercial, like if they're watching or streaming, we'd be on their streaming commercials. We'd be in their Facebook ads. Like it would geofence their houses. Like it was crazy. It did not work as well as I thought or hoped it was going to work. Now that was like a year and some change ago. It might be a little bit better now. Not 100% sure. Pay per lead though. So some of the ways that a lot of these work are they'll go and they'll have these ads. You bid on it. Property leads is like my favorite. They were the best that I used. I tried like 4 or 5 different ones. Property leads was the best. The quality was the best. And I don't know, like one of the things that I don't like about PPL, like pay per lead services, is like, I don't know when that lead came in. I don't know if they've sent that lead to somebody else. I don't know how old that lead is. Like there's so many things I don't know about that lead that I don't have control of. I don't know what the landing page looked like that they were on. Like I don't know so many things that it's really, really difficult for me to like want to give them $500 a lead in Charlotte. So I'm paying $500 a lead. So like keep that in mind as I show you this this sheet that I'm going to show you in just a second, everybody. But like you pay $500 a lead in Charlotte, but I don't know if somebody else has that lead, or I don't know when that lead actually came in. Property Leads tries to be as transparent as possible. I think actually we still don't even know. Used them and I really have no idea. So Property Leads is a really good one for if you're going to do PPL, but I would rather control because I would rather build our brand, build our SEO, like build up our all that stuff. So like pay-per-click is really good. You can control, you know exactly when that comes in. If it's a Google ad, you're controlling your name. You're building up your SEO juice, you're building up your credibility, you're building up your brand. And so pay-per-click is a really good way to go, but there's going to be an on-ramp, right? There's going to be a 90 to 120-day cash conversion cycle because the Google ads have to warm up to you. They have to one, you're competing. How that works is you're competing against other people in your area for keywords. And so you may be paying more per lead if you're in a more popular area. And that's just kind of how that works. It just all depends when it comes to like pay-per-click, PPC, on how much money you want to spend and what areas you want to market in. It's way cheaper if you're going to do pay-per-click nationwide than if you're going to do pay-per-click in one area. So you just really have to be mindful on how you're going to do that because it ends up balancing out if you're going to do something nationwide. And then they have direct mail. Direct mail is tried and true. We send out direct mail all the time. The only hard part is like they have different types of direct mail. You have postcards, and then you have like blank checks, or not blank checks, but like checks with and I know this is really cool. There's some CRMs that actually do this. Like Left Main is on here. What's up, y'all? I freaking love Stephanie and you all. You guys are incredible. So like Left Main, they actually have it where like if you have a list in there, they'll send out the checks for you, which is cool. Other services do direct mail. We use DM Force to do a lot of our direct mail. So DM Force is fantastic for direct mail. Also, oh, I like yellow something, and then man, I love. There's I'll put these in the school community so you have the list of really.
Yeah, yellow letter marketing.
Yeah, there's yellow letter marketing, but then I have man, what's my guy's name? I love him. He's a great guy. He's in CG and he's one of my favorite people in the world, and so I like to support him and everything he does. But I will make sure that I put because I also think he's a very good direct mail provider.
Ryan Dossie.
No, I know Ryan though, but it's not Ryan. Ballpoint, I like Ryan a lot too. Great guy. So Ryan's a good like Ballpoint is a good one as well. Okay, what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna show you guys our numbers. Like this is straight up. These are our numbers on what we spend on marketing this year up to this point. And I actually think I need to update this from the last month and some change. So please don't hate me for not showing you guys everything. Cool. Some of these things I'm just gonna be honest. Some of these things I'm gonna black out partially because like I'm just gonna black it out. Let me see. But these other things I'm gonna show you all. Boom. Okay, so all right. Let's chop it up. What are your thoughts on billboards? Billboards are great for brand recognition. And if you're trying to like completely own a market, they've got to be like market centric. So if you want to own one market, then like you can't just have billboards. You have to do direct mail and you have to do ads because they say, and this is a very common thing. They used to say it takes on average 6 to 8 times for somebody to see your brand or remember you. Now, because of social media, the way it is, it's going to take on average like 12 to 15 times for somebody to see your brand for them to remember you. And so like billboard is good for brand recognition. I don't know how many leads it's going to get you, but for brand recognition, it's going to crush. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys right now our marketing. Okay, so we're going to take a gander over here. If you look here, these are our marketing sources, and this is how much we've spent. $458,000 on marketing. So, Jonathan, this is like the real. Like, I'm gonna show you guys. I actually do this. When people are like, they're gurus, like, I actually do this. So, $458,000 is what we spent on marketing this year. I do think I need to update that number a little bit more. This is what it's produced as far as leads, and then converted leads. So, there's a lot of these that I'm like, man, we probably need to do a lot better on our sales process so that we can make sure that we make this number better. But if you want to look at the quality of some of these leads and what it looks like and how much these cost per lead is. So I've got over here our cost per lead. So we were talking about it, right? So this is actually one of my favorite ones and I think the highest converting. is Lead Kitchen, right? This is our Facebook ads. I think we spent a little bit over 20 grand and we've gotten, shoot. I wonder, we definitely have more than 41 leads on this right now in the last, and we've only been using that for about 2 or 3 months. And that's brought in that's at $149 a lead, which is fantastic. Because if you're using something like PPC or PPL, which is pay per lead, and direct mail. So direct mail does really well too, but we're spending around $223 a lead and 274. So $223 a lead for direct mail, $274 a lead for PPL. This is our acquisition people, and then this is like cold calling. So cold calling leads are at $60 a lead, and texting leads are at $68 a lead. So that's kind of when it comes to big data, what we're doing and what we're spending. If you guys have questions on that, I'm happy to answer any. Jonathan, do you have one? I don't know if he does.
Question?
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm still here.
Okay, cool,
No,
cool.
no. That's no, legit, no, that's a legit. You're,
Ooh, you're breaking up a lot. It
if you can
probably is
hear me, but
me.
yeah, that's a legit. Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear
Hello.
you now. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, is it not
I
as
can hear you.
choppy?
Yes, sir. Yeah, yeah, not choppy. You're good.
Okay, yeah, no, I was just saying, no, that's a legit marketing budget. That's what it takes to have that's a real wholesale business for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So we've
That's awesome.
done it. Well, and I the thing so and sometimes people like to ask questions where they're like, "Oh, okay, like how many leads are you getting? How are you finding like this quality of leads, or are you liking this one over that one?" That stuff is really I want to be able as helpful as I possibly can and as transparent as I can. Just because I know people want to invest into marketing, right? What SMS platform? Hey, good question. So I talked about this a little bit earlier. Smarter Contact, way better than like Launch Control or the other ones I use. Smarter Contact is our go-to for SMS. And then if you guys are using dialers, here's another one. We've used all of them, Call Tools, all of these. Enzo Dialer, so good. I mean, like, let me show you guys. I'm going to show y'all our stoplight
Yeah,
report.
so I was actually thinking about doing a batch mixed with batch lead sourcing. But yeah, do
Oh,
you think
shoot.
that?
That's another thing I got to tell y'all about. The good data, the best data. Okay. So I got you on this too. So batch, I would not use the batch dialer. What I would do here, I'm going to show you guys Q3. I'm going to show you guys like a huge difference in our stoplight reports from Q3 to Q4, just based off of the dialer that we used. Okay. So, I'm going to share this. I'm going to share this again so you can kind of see this. All right. So if we're going to our marketing side of things, all right. So I don't know if you guys are familiar with stoplight reports. We use stoplight reports to manage our quarter over quarter progress here. So if you looked at number of big data dialers, now some of this has to do with how many dialers we have, but look at this huge difference. Okay, so from right here, we were at 5,700, 6,000, 5,000 using call tools or like a batch or something like that, getting about 70 to anywhere between like 71 leads a week to 50 leads a week. And then we switched to Enzo Dialer. 13, 14,000 calls we were able to make. I think we did like up our budget on the amount of callers we had. Like, look at this. And then it got consistently 13,000, 12,000, 10,000, 11,000, 12,000, 13,000. So up until this week, 13,000, 112 leads a week, 90 weeks, 90 or 95 leads, 77 leads. So having that stuff in there is really, really awesome. So I would highly suggest for us, we were using like Enzo Dialer drastically. I'm saying drastically increased the amount of calls we were able to make and leads from like call tools because of the latency on dialers. Theirs is way down. They use this really cool AI program to do. I don't know what they do with it, but it's awesome. Now, I will give like this huge caveat. If you are going to spend any money on marketing, and the first half of our year, I would say like our sales process was not super dialed in. And so we could not take advantage of the marketing budget that we were spending. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on marketing. If you don't have a good sales process and like a sure sales process that can close deals, you will be throwing money down the drain, like straight up throwing money down the drain. You guys got to make sure that you have a dialed in sales process that will allow you to convert these leads. And so we've been experimenting with like virtual assistant salespeople, stateside salespeople, trying to figure out what works for us. And we've just noticed, unless you dial it in, unless you really dial in the process that you have, the training that you have, and you spend a lot of time on that training, you're not going to be able to convert these leads, and you're just going to be wasting money. So like, make sure you spend a lot of time like documenting your processes, so that you can scale those processes. Or if you're going to be the one in the sales role getting in these leads, make sure that you are dialing in your sales process day by day by day, so that you're taking advantage of the money that you're spending on these. Q, with the intention of being strategically placed in zip codes with the highest rate of pre-foreclosures. Okay, for billboards, sure. Sure. But really, it's man. I can ask somebody. I have a friend that's dominating his market in York, Pennsylvania with billboards, but it's because like the past 10, 15 years, he is that guy. Like he is that dude. It's Eric Brewer, and I can ask
I
him
think
about it. Go
you
ahead.
could probably do a lot better spend than billboards for leads. I
You
don't know.
definitely
Yeah.
100%. You 100%. So like the really the reason why you would the only and like I was saying earlier, the only reason why you would do billboard is if like you've been in that area for a good amount of time, you're dominated, like people know you and you're just building brand recognition. I don't think you're gonna get any leads. I don't think you'll be able to directly attribute any leads from the billboard, but I do think that something like a billboard, when somebody sees your ad pop up or sees like a direct mail postcard, those are the things that are going to supplement, like the billboard is going to supplement those things and give that brand recognition and that trust. But I don't think the billboard itself is going to bring in leads. I don't. So,
Also, on top of that, foreclosure people are some of the most like, you know, they're very hard to have them reach out to you if that kind of makes sense.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, no, there's no doubt about that. So foreclosures are a different beast. And that's what we've made our bread and butter on this last year. And then Quentin, the guy asking that, he's dominating that in Florida. He actually used to be one of our guys, but he's down there killing it. I love it. And so yeah, Q, I don't know if I would suggest billboards for you down there unless you have other things to supplement it with. So that's like that would be I would rather you um put it into like ads.
Spend all that on PPC.
Yeah, well, if he's doing foreclosure, I don't know, man. Yeah,
It
maybe,
depends. Yeah, there's so many questions
maybe.
about where is at in his business. I have
Yeah.
no idea. I'm just talking out loud here.
No,
Sorry.
PPC is great. No, 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 because you're right though. But there is a difference on like I think a billboard's like $800 a month. It might be a little more expensive than that. It might be like 5 grand a month. But we
Oh,
spend
I didn't know those were cheap. I thought they were way more expensive than that.
Yeah, no, they're not super expensive. I guess it depends on where you place it. But and it depends on what type of billboard, because they have like the digital ones that change. And so they can put like 4 or 5 different ads on one billboard and it just cycles through them. But like yeah, I would say depending on how much money you have and the cycle, like what your timeline is, uh PPC is going to be great, but there's going to be that on ramp. I mean, when I started Facebook ads, we were getting we were getting leads like the next day. So it really does just depend on who's running your ads, how they're doing them. There's different people that do different methods for those, and they're interesting. Like Lead Kitchen, it's Ryan Pineda's company, and like the ads are Ryan Pineda, and they just go into our CRM. So that's weird, but well, whatever, it works. And so we've been seeing a lot of good things from it. So it's just a really interesting, depending on how you guys want to market. There's a ton of different ways of marketing direct to seller, and it all depends on your budget. So it depends on your budget, depends on your timeline, it depends on the niche that you're in, the location. There's all those things, and so I hope that I was able to give like a good overview and just like really solid foundation and like really solid actual numbers and statistics to what's working, what can be beneficial. And yeah. So does anybody have any? Oh, yo, I didn't even check if there's questions on the YouTube. Oh no, there's only one person watching. That's okay. That's all right. I appreciate all y'all that are here. Y'all are awesome. In the future, do you see TikTok ads ramping up? Yo, it's the demographic, right? Like, I don't know, because like my millennials watch a ton of TikTok. I don't know if many older people watch TikTok, and I don't know how many people. I mean, there could be a lot of people going through foreclosure watching TikTok. I actually see YouTube ads being probably a lot more of a viable option than TikTok. And I have a friend, Chandler Sane. Chandler runs YouTube ads and is crushing him. crushing it. So I would actually say YouTube ads would probably be before TikTok ads. So that would be my case. I know Q, you're like 19, 20, 21. Actually, so I could see where you would think TikTok, but I would go to YouTube before I'd go to TikTok probably. So that's like I'm actually gonna try out YouTube ads next. That's gonna be my speaking of TikTok, you mentioned you kind of got into real estate because of it. What year was that? Yeah, 2021. I started real estate in 2021 off of a guy named Tom Cruise, his video. He was like, "Hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Here's how you get into real estate with no cash and no like without credit mattering." So I went to my wife.
Section
Yeah,
8, Tom Cruise.
that's right, Section 8 Tom Cruise. And so I went to my wife and I was like, "Babe, you should try this." And she was like, "No, thanks." And I was like, "All right, I'll try it." And then here we are, 4 years later, 3 years later, 3.5 years later. Yeah, so I started about 3.5 years ago. Section 8 Tom Cruise, baby. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean he has a very recognizable name.
he really does, which is so funny. Those are the same videos I started watching. Yeah, man, it's wild, bro. Hey, that guy's changed some people's lives, you know? That's cool. That's cool. I
I think
respect
he's
that.
a modern day Ty Lopez, but not in a bad way. Not in a bad way.
Well, there he definitely is the modern day Ty Lopez, and I hope it's not as much in a bad day. He's just so crass, man. One of those guys. Sorry if you already answered this, but is all your marketing spend towards foreclosures? No. So, I have acquisitions people that go towards foreclosures. Let's see if I were to look at that sheet. How much have I attributed this year to foreclosure? I will say it's probably like one of our best returns, partially because of how big the spreads are on foreclosures. So that's kind of like one of our best ROIs. Yo, where is my? I got so many tabs here. I gotta find that thing. I gotta find it. All right, there it goes. So in all, so if it comes to like our foreclosure cold callers and our foreclosure acquisitionists, I spent about out of $458,000 in marketing. I've spent 193,000 on closures, and it has brought in $598,000 worth of. So, I mean, I guess that's like a 3x.
How big is your team?
Uh oh, and this is good. We just for the sake of so and we'll talk about this too. So I run a fund, and my fund is super thankful. I've got incredible investors, but I also have a fiduciary responsibility to our investors. And so I have to make sure that we remain profitable, stay profitable, remain profitable. So we don't have so I eliminated $20,000 worth of overhead today. So we have about $120,000 in overhead a month. And so we were at 20, no, I think we're at 31 people on our team. And that includes like well, what are the numbers? I can show you the numbers.
No, I was just curious. I
No,
don't
I'm
even
trying to
know
think.
if this is off track of the call, but I
Oh
was
no,
just
no, I don't
curious.
care. I don't care. I think I have 13 stateside people, and then I still have 13 stateside people. I had 20, 22. 22 VAs doing different things. Yeah, so ooh, that's like 35 people. Sheesh. But we dropped a lot of them today. Partially because one, I wanted to lower our overhead, run a little bit leaner, and that's part of running a business, like making hard decisions like that. So that's tough. So what would I say here? Are the acquisition guys door knocking or all virtual? I do have door knockers. So I've got stateside, I have one, two, three, four people that are salespeople. Like three of them, two or three of them, a door knock, and they are acquisition people that will go to in-person appointments. And then I have like four virtual only people, salespeople. What would you say was the most important thing that you learned since starting in 2021 that you had the biggest impact to get you where you are today? The biggest thing, shout out Stanford, Stanford. Sorry. So one of the biggest things that got me to where I am today is honestly the importance of education. So I have invested since 2021 into Collective Genius, which at one point cost me $1,500 a month. Now it costs me $2,500 a month. So you do the math over 3 years, I've spent over, I don't know, 90 something thousand dollars on the Collective Genius over the past 3 years. But it has like grown my company exponentially. Like I would not be here without that mastermind. And so I would say like the biggest thing is education, education, education. Getting in some like don't be afraid to spend money on coaching. Don't be afraid to spend money on something that's going to actually take your business to the next level. I have this saying where I say a smart person learns from his own mistakes, a wise person learns from other mistakes. And so if you can actually piggyback off of the work that somebody else has done to push forward and to propel your business forward, then oh yo, Jonathan, are you still here?
Yep.
Perfect. I think my computer like lost internet for a second. I just want to make sure. So if you could piggyback off of what somebody else has done and not make those mistakes that they've made, then that's going to save you a ton of money in the long run. And so Collective Genius, being a part of Collective Genius is by far the best money I've ever spent and the best thing that I've ever done.
How
Now,
quickly did you hop into that?
so we grew pretty quickly, and like I've owned and run other companies before, and so like we grew pretty quickly, and so that enabled us to get in there. But I say we started with I started April 2021 wholesaling. Period. I joined CG in like August 2021, September, so like within 3 months.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
and I have been in it ever since. Have not missed one thing. So like it's been incredible. So for the I would say like that has been huge. And like $1,500 a month, y'all. Sheesh, that's freaking crazy. Now it's $2,500 a month. Sheesh. But it's very much so worth it. The people that I'm around, incredible. So I wouldn't like trade it for the world for anything. I've met, I mean, and you guys just think about it, like except for Tom Cruise, all of the biggest people are in like I'm in there with like Ryan Pineda and Kong and just crazy, crazy people. Crazy people. And so it's cool to be a part of that, but you pay to be in it. I pay 1,500, $2,500 a month to be in it. So that's been super, super helpful for me. And then also just like the riches are in the niches, right? Like make sure that you guys aren't a mile wide and an inch deep. And because I'm learning that lesson right now, there's like a couple things that I would have like done better if I could do anything better from the beginning. It would have been like my second hire. It's like once we started like going well, my like one of my main hires would have been like a CFO early, or even just a fractional CFO. Somebody that can come in and make sure to help me to like forecast right and budget correctly and make sure that we're putting all of our money and allocating it to the right areas and making wise decisions. That was like immediately I would have made that decision on somebody to run the finances because I am terrible at running finances. We'd be in a much different position if that happened back then. And then yeah, and then like dialing in your sales process. You literally should not spend any money on marketing if you don't have a dialed in sales process. And that's going to take like you dialing in your sales process before you even bring on another person. Oh, and another thing, document. Document, document, document. I'm huge on SOPs. If you guys see our SOPs, they're insane. Like they're insane now. They're all in a platform where our people can search it. It used to be Trainual. I don't like Trainual anymore. Now our SOPs look like this. Let me show you guys. It's freaking insane. They're awesome. So so if we go to like our SOPs, you can kind of see here where we at though. Oh, come
What
on.
would be your how do you track your like cost conversion or like what is your like bare bones tracking for to see if you're running profitable, I guess, per deal or I
Yeah,
don't even know if that
no,
question
you're
makes
fine.
sense,
Yeah.
but yeah,
So
like but I would say simple, like for like
QuickBooks.
I'm yeah, I'm obviously not near what
Yeah,
you're saying
QuickBooks.
there.
No, you're fine. QuickBooks is great, man. QuickBooks is incredible. I would I'd try to make sure that you guys get on QuickBooks as soon as possible. Get a good bookkeeper that knows what they're doing. I've got a good bookkeeper for people if they need one, a really good bookkeeper and accounting. Yeah, you don't need a CFO. If you just get a good bookkeeper, understand like how everything is mapped, that it's mapped out well and what it's supposed to be, that actually should bring a ton of clarity for how much your profit per deal and all that stuff actually is. So just good bookkeeping. That would probably be the best thing, and it would just be in QuickBooks, honestly. That's what I would suggest. So like here's like our SOPs. We have different SOPs for different departments. So you could see like here, show you right here. SOPs. You can see we have like different SOPs for different departments. And so if we looked at, let's say like for our acquisition people right here, they can log in here and kind of come in and see what our oh come on, show it. Lame, don't be lame. Gonna be lame. Tragic. If I can refresh this thing. If I can refresh this thing, I'll show you guys. But come on. It's gonna do it. Yeah, here we go. So you can see like our SOPs are in here. So they can come in and they can go, okay, all right, acquisitions 101. I want to come in here and look at, all right, what does it look like for me to comp? And then this gets pulled up like this, where, oh, that's one of those. All right, so if we pull up like this, then they can actually look at this and watch this video. And then there's actually a step-by-step walkthrough right in here because we've documented these processes. And that's really, really important.
How do you comp per se?
See, so like it shows and
Let's
walks
start
through
with-
exactly how to comp through here. So like having something like this, so if you do bring on people, so one of the big things I would say is like start it now, start document what you do every day, even the mundane. So then if you do bring somebody else in to your company, because you've documented that, you can teach them once and then they can reference something like those SOPs and don't have to keep coming to you and asking a bunch of questions and all that stuff. So document what you do for the sake of being able to help somebody later on down the road, teach it to them later on down the road. Do you go over real estate and tax stuff in my school group? I don't. I don't, but I have like um it is something that I want to bring to like more specifically to like my coaching group. I'll probably because like our CFO is a crazy, like she does a ton of like she's a tax whatever. So she knows all that stuff. So that would be kind of helpful. We could would bring her in to speak about it, to do stuff like that. So I do plan on it, but I'm not the expert in it, so I'm not gonna teach on it. You don't want me teaching on taxes. So not right now. That stuff's not in there. But if she comes in and teaches on it, might put that in there. 10-4, yes, sir. Okay, cool. This has been fantastic. Does anybody have any? Thanks for coming with the question. I like it. Appreciate you guys with the questions. Hope this was a good subject to talk about today, marketing and all that stuff. Yeah. Well, if you guys want, I'm gonna put this recording in the free school community. So if you guys want that, you could just actually like DM me the word school at SKOOL, or just DM me and say you want to link to it, and I'll send you a link to it, so you can find that in there. And yeah, I got a ton of stuff that I'd love to be able to help with if I can be as helpful as possible. Jonathan, do you have anything before I sign off?
Yeah, no, appreciate it. And one more, are you just in South Carolina specifically or your
Nope.
markets?
No, I'm in North and South Carolina.
Okay, but you only do 2 states?
As of right now, yeah, only doing 2 states, diving in those. We're
Yeah,
not
no, that's great.
nationwide with any of that stuff right now, but I know a lot of people that do nationwide as well.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that was awesome. Thank you. Appreciate the time.
Heck yeah, man. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. If y'all have any more questions, need anything, please feel free to DM me. I am here for you. Happy to help. Make sure that you check it out. This actually is going to be on my YouTube channel and then also in the school community where like I'm just going to show y'all. If you are not in the school community, it's free. It's 100% free. And you can come in and you can get all these freebies. Look at this. I got real estate investing 101, some scripts you can download, the full foreclosure process that I was talking about in here. You can get a little bit more insight on like organizational charts, accountability charts, some capital raising stuff. I got live seller calls in there. This recording will be in right here. Some creative financing stuff. All of that is in the school community if you guys want to join in there. So I'm happy to have you. It's 100% free. Nothing, not charging anything in that. That is 100% free for y'all to jump into. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your time. Your time is the number one asset that you have. So the fact that you have shared it with me and given it to me means the world. So I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a fantastic day, and I definitely will check y'all later. Alrighty. Peace, y'all. Peace. Thanks, Jonathan, for being here, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sir.